Hello, students. Congratulations on completing Nova Strike. You guys did a wonderful job building this game, starting with our really bad, unplayable version in Lesson 1 and bringing it all the way to the final finished product. You may find yourself going, okay, that was a lot of fun. I really liked coding this game. So what do I do next? Because all I can do now is just play the game. But this isn't about simply playing the games, it's about building the games. So in this video, I'm going to give you a few ideas that you can take on your own to continue building out Nova Strike. So let's head to the computer screen and look at our final version of Nova Strike. So here it is. I'll press enter to play. We can zoom around the battlefield. We can fire our laser beam. We can have the ships explode into particles. I can launch bombs with a nice overlay flash. I can take damage and I get a screen shake. So things are working out really, really nicely here. So my first idea for a way you can expand Nova Strike would be to add some different enemy behaviors. So right now, our enemies simply move down the screen and they drift left or right, bouncing off the walls. And this works, and it works really nicely. But maybe you want to add some different enemy types. Enemies that maybe move faster, or bigger, slower enemies that take more than one bullet to destroy. You could also make enemies that sort of zigzag and move at randomized patterns. So have an enemy that maybe drifts this way and then randomly changes its direction and drifts this way and randomly changes its direction over and over in the game world. I think this fits pretty well because our game already has enemy objects. It has movement logic, and it has our spawning systems in place that can create these enemies for us. So that is a nice way that we could implement and improve on the enemy system. Now, if you look here, I am taking lots and lots of damage. So my next idea would come in the form of giving the player a way to regain some of their shield. And my first thought was the shield could simply regain over time. Slowly over time, if you avoid damage, you will slowly increase your shield energy. And I think this works naturally because our game already tracks our shield value, like how much shield we have, and we have a running track of DT and runtime seconds. So we know how long the game has been running. We know how much time has passed in each frame. All we would need to do is add a little bit of shield back to the player to fill them back up, reward them for surviving for a long period of time. All right, mission number 3. A classic shmup shooter, shoot 'em up game often has more than one fire mode for their primary weapon. Right now, we just got one, right? Our laser beam. We got this nice secondary weapon of our bomb, but we just have our laser beam. So maybe you want to have like power-ups where the user could select. They destroy a ship, there's a power-up. When I hit that power-up, maybe it gives me rapid fire. Or maybe it gives me a spread shot, where instead of shooting one beam, I shoot a beam in the forward direction, out at an angle, and out at an angle. Or maybe I create something with massive bullets, all right? The idea here is that we would have different weapon systems. And so this builds directly on our current weapon system, our cooldowns, our projectile logic, creating bullets that move and collide. You could just simply create maybe like a weapon object and have different properties of that object. You could have normal, you could have spread, you could have rapid, you could have charged, and you just switch between those properties, much like we switch through our game mode properties for our current game mode. So like start, lose, and play. Another thing you could do is have some more visual variation. So right now, our particle system looks great. I really love the particle system, but they're all the same type of particles. You could create particles of different colors, sizes, or have different explosion styles based on the type of enemy that you create. So right now, our normal enemies are exploding with particles like this, but if you implemented fast enemies or heavy enemies that could take more damage, or our randomized movement enemies, each one could have its own particle system. And that would add a lot of great visual flair to what we are trying to accomplish. And then lastly, finally, something that would really take this game over the top is add a mini boss or some kind of boss enemy to the game. You could design a larger enemy that has more health, that requires multiple hits, that maybe even has its own health bar, much like the player. It would fire aggressively at the player, track the player, and we'd have to move around them. I think this integrates really well because our game already supports enemies, bullets, collisions, and scaling and difficulty, so we could use our ramp to control when we spawn that enemy. So those are just a few ideas that I had of how you could take this game that we built together and turn it into a game that you have created all on your own. Because the honest truth is, by the end of this, I want you to feel a couple of things. I want you to feel like you understand every single line of code that you wrote. I want you to feel like you have ownership of this, and I want to feel like this game is truly yours. So these ideas might help you take that game and put it in that area for you. So with that, I hope to see you in another video.